to school and work, waiting for some fun while my boss acts like a jerk. Pro show afternoons, midnight sketch can't come too soon. The afternoon sketch can't come too soon. But at night I'm filled with dread. I know just what I'll do instead. Come on and follow me. It's time you see for Lorn and Apollo. Time to laugh and learn. Come feel the burn of what the fandom was. What random fun doesn't escape. Isn't it great? Late night with Lorn and Apollo.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Lorn and Apollo show. We're here on a Friday evening getting ready to rocket into our weekend. I'm here with my fabulous co-host Kevin Apollo, and we are starting our cinema series again with 1980. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good, man. All my travel equipment is breaking.
Well, you seem to be doing all right.
My ring light just broke.
Oh, well, you got light, you're well lit, we can see you. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm tired. This is a lot of work. It's cool. You know, it's nice to see these kids have been on a plane for 22 and a half hours.
Ooh, so they're tired too.
Yeah. So, and this is the first time they've been been away from home, let alone even out of their country for like 90% of them. So it's cool, getting them here, taking the fun 2-hour ride, getting them settled in, giving them some good old American food, and then setting them loose on the world. So one more trip.
How long will they be there with you?
About 3 months. A little under 3 months. So pretty much their entire summer vacation.
Very, very cool. We are going to be covering the movies of 1980 tonight. I didn't get a list from you because you were tied up today, but I hope you may have some at the top of your brain, and if not, anyway, we've got a couple other folks here that I'm sure you can chime in with opinions on, because I know that some of these would have been on your list anyway. To bring in our next co-host, we have Marvin the Movie Monster Montanaro, the Emperor of the M4 Empire.
What's going on, gentlemen? Yeah, so I just saw the Super Mario Galaxy movie for the second time tonight. Finally got my Yoshi popcorn bucket. But they did not have the Luma popcorn bucket. So took my wife to see it tonight. She loved it. So super fun movie.
Do you collect popcorn buckets normally?
I have a bit of a popcorn bucket problem.
Oh, wow.
Did you get the cool Galactus one?
No, I couldn't justify that one. It was $100. I was
oh my gosh.
I wanted it, and I'm thinking about it because I went by myself because I was seeing it for work. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't have my wife there to be like, no, you can't buy that. And I was like, I could just buy it. And then what's she going to do? Take it away? But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? It's Galactus. I love Galactus, but it's Galactus from this movie, and I'm really willing to spend $100 on anything from this movie.
That's an awesome popcorn bucket, though. I don't collect popcorn buckets, but I would get that one just because it's like, look, forego 2 or 3 of the lesser popcorn buckets to get that one. That would make sense to me.
The one that I'm really pissed that I didn't get was when they re-released the original Tim Burton Batman in theaters a few years ago. They released a Bat Signal popcorn bucket.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. Yeah. Did it light up?
It did. It did. And I didn't get it.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
All right. We also need to bring in Mr. Martin Stone. Sir, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Glad to hear you guys are too.
Tell us all amazing stories about your week.
I had a really good steak sandwich the other day.
Nice.
Tell us about the amazing steak sandwich.
So I made it on Cuban bread.
Oh, you made
it? It's a homemade steak sandwich. Not like you and
all right.
steak place.
Yeah, because I had made some standing rib roast and had leftovers. So I reheated that in beef broth and chopped up some onions, added some provolone cheese, some mayonnaise.
Jalapenos?
No jalapenos on that one.
Okay. Sounds good, though. That was the highlight of your week, the steak sandwich?
No, actually, that was just leftovers. No, having a great time with my kids. Took them to see Mario today.
What
That
was
was
your
great.
take?
I liked it. I think Marv was right. It's very much like a video game. Every scene is a new location and things like that. And then tonight I took my wife out. We finally got a date night and went to see Project Hail Mary.
Very
Oh,
nice. That's a good way to cap off the week.
Amaze,
Yeah.
amaze, amaze.
It's nice to have real movies again.
I'm excited about this year.
Mhm.
For the first time in a long time. I'm hoping that we get a string of them. So
There's so many movies that I'm actually looking forward to this year. I mean, Mandalorian and Grogu and Avengers Doomsday are not one of them. But other than that, like Godzilla Minus Zero, I cannot wait for Godzilla Minus Zero. That's gonna be so good. And like Project Hail Mary, that wasn't even on my radar until everybody loved it.
I had liked the book, so I was paying attention when I found out they were making it.
But isn't it just nice to be looking forward to something for a change?
It
It's been so long since we've been able to be optimistic about something.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, Kevin, I wanted to ask you,
mm.
what'd you think of the second Masters of the Universe trailer?
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet. I have been
Fire it up, Lorn. Fire it up.
I've been in such
All
a
right.
hole. I haven't had a chance.
Well,
Amazon has not been copywriting anybody that I've seen.
Yeah, no.
Ah.
Amazon seems to not have a bunch of dummies in their marketing department.
Yeah, Supergirl. The Supergirl trailer I got hit for.
I don't know if I want to take the risk though. This is Pro's channel. That feels a little like taking Dad's car out for a joyride without letting him know. So,
Well, all right,
I think
we'll come up my channel tomorrow night, and we'll burn it all down.
don't get me wrong. I think you're probably right. I think they're probably smarter with the exposure, but I ain't taking that risk. So
We got to hear your buddy Skeletor voice for the first time, and
what do
I
you-
don't
what do
hate
you
it.
do?
He's doing it very Shakespearean, which I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Like they were never gonna do that. Evil. Yeah.
This is the minorest of quibbles, but I feel like there's a part where he's talking with the people of Eternia, and he says, "You don't know me," and I really feel like for the trailer, the next line should have been, "But I'm Adam, Prince of Eternia."
Yeah, probably.
missed opportunity. Yep.
Speaking of missed opportunities, I had a brain blast the other day when I was thinking about Harry Potter. And you know how, like, for 7 straight books, nobody will say Voldemort's name other than Harry and Dumbledore and eventually Hermione. There should have been a moment in that final battle in book 7 when before they all find out that Harry's alive, like when they think he's still dead, where everyone just shouts his name at him to show that they're no longer afraid of it.
Yeah,
even Ron, and like Ron should have been the one to start it, because Ron was the one who would never say the name. Like he would yell at Harry for saying the name in all 7 books.
So 2 weeks later, it was always my intention to have old bravely stand against Voldemort and say his name in an act of defiance.
I feel like it should come out though, sort of like a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on.
We do have some super chats to get here real quick. We have Chris Thornton joining as a new YouTube member. I can't tell what membership level, but welcome to the Madhouse. Glad to have you here. Hope you enjoy the ride. We've got Wild and Crazy Bear for 2 saying a 1980 Pontiac Grand Prix cost around $7,800. Holy cow. That hurts. We got Juliet saying, morning late night live with Lorn, Apollo, and chat for 2 British pounds sterling, or as Marvin would say, proper money.
I stole that from Culture, so yeah.
And we got Solstice Studios gifting 20 WDW Pro memberships.
Right.
Solstice is always really generous on the channel here. Thank you, sir, for gifting that. If you receive one of those memberships, be sure to thank Solstice. Tip your hat to him. Thanks again for supporting the channel. We really appreciate it. And we have Archer Merchant for 2. Confuse the audience with a 90s Supergirl review.
Man, I will say, as much as I like the He-Man show, that Supergirl trailer was crapola.
Hey, you don't want to be like one of these mean misogynists out here. Check your privilege, Marv.
Right. I'm claiming ownership over Millie Alcock's body, apparently. We all are.
Mrs. Stone saw that preview. She goes, "Are they just trying to do Guardians of the Galaxy?"
So it was all the worst parts of Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean, the first two Guardians are very good, and the third one's okay. But like that was all like the worst stuff about it, like the most cliched stuff about it. Whereas I felt like the Masters of the Universe trailer was all the best stuff about Thor Ragnarok.
I would also like more movies to have orchestral scores again instead of. I love my 80s, 90s, 70s music, but we don't need to rehash it all the time. And we particularly don't need soulful renditions slowed down for trailers.
You know what, Martin, I actually ended up noticing about the Mario movie the second time around, that speaking of what you're saying, there were no record drops with contemporary music this time. Like in the first movie, there's all this contemporary music in it. In this one, they just stuck to the like the Mario themes, like the actual
right,
Mario.
And the themes appropriate to the planets they're on.
Yes, exactly. Which is what I've been saying the Sonic movie needs to do, because I'm like, you've got this wealth of music that you can pull from. You don't need to be doing needle drops.
Didn't the third Sonic movie have a little bit in Las Vegas where they played just a touch of the Casino Night Zone or something like that?
So, yeah.
And I always thought when he nearly drowns, I think in the second movie when they're in Hawaii, they should have really leaned into the drowning music from the water levels.
So many anxiety triggers.
Oh,
every dad in that audience about to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's like getting on that Donkey Kong roller coaster at Epic Universe, when all of a sudden you're just kind of like, wait a minute, I'm living through my childhood anxiety right now by being in a minecart level Donkey Kong.
Oh. Well, guys, we do have some stories to get to. Our first one is, judge dismisses majority of claims in Blake Lively lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
Thank goodness.
A major legal setback has just reshaped the high-profile Blake Lively lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, and it's not one that reflects well on the actress or her inner circle. A federal judge has dismissed the majority of Lively's claims against her It Ends With Us director and co-star just weeks before the case was set to head to trial. The ruling strips away the most serious accusations, including sexual harassment and defamation, leaving behind only a handful of narrower claims that don't directly involve Baldoni himself. For a lawsuit that was positioned as a sweeping indictment of alleged misconduct on set, the outcome raises serious questions about how this legal battle was pursued and what it ultimately accomplished. Out of the 13 claims originally filed by Lively, 10 have now been dismissed. That includes the headline-grabbing sexual harassment accusations, which were thrown out due in part to legal technicalities, specifically Lively's classification as an independent contractor rather than an employee. The remaining claims, retaliation, aiding and abetting retaliation, and breach of contract, don't name Baldoni personally. One claim remains against his production company, Wayfarer. Baldoni's legal team didn't hold back in their response. We're very pleased the court dismissed all sexual harassment claims and every claim brought against the individual defendants, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, Melissa Nathan, and Jennifer Abel, his attorney said. These were very serious allegations, and we're grateful to the court for its careful review of the facts, law, and voluminous evidence that was provided. In other words, the core of Lively's case, the part that carried the most reputational weight, has effectively been dismantled. Despite the sweeping dismissals, Lively's camp is attempting to reframe the outcome as a partial victory, emphasizing the remaining claims and the broader narrative of retaliation. Her attorney, Sigrid McCauley, issued the following statement. This case has always been and will remain focused on the devastating retaliation and the extraordinary steps the defendants took to destroy Blake Lively's reputation.
Right.
Because she stood up for safety on the set, and that is the case that is going to trial. Lively's team also added, the greatest measure of justice is that the people in the playbook behind these coordinated digital attacks have been exposed and are already being held accountable by other women they've targeted. She looks forward to testifying at trial and continuing to shine a light on this vicious form of online retaliation so that it becomes easier to detect and fight.
She's the worst. These are the literal worst.
Isn't it nice watching that goalpost move in real time?
Yep.
But that framing is a tough sell given the reality of the court's decision. The most damaging accusations, those that could have permanently defined Baldoni's career, have been removed from the case entirely. The legal battle stems from the production of It Ends With Us, the 2024 adaptation of Colleen Hoover's novel. Lively accused Baldoni of inappropriate behavior on set, including alleged sexual comments and unplanned intimate scenes. She also claimed that Baldoni and his team orchestrated the coordinated public relations effort to undermine her credibility after she raised concerns.
Raised concerns, aka hijacked and stole the movie.
You want to go into that a little?
Kevin could go into it better than I could.
Oh, and apparently this is a thing that the Reynolds family likes to do to smaller filmmakers. But essentially, the short version, she bullied her way into essentially seeing the film from him by trying to make herself the director, leveraging Ryan Reynolds' fame into an EP position, and then bullied her way into the script to try to also bully some writing credits. Essentially just pushed him out of his entire film. And then, the thing I always love to point out is, those text messages, so many spicy text messages that he didn't respond to, either because he is completely and totally oblivious, or he knew that he was being set up. I can't tell. Because there's just, there's a lot of man bun energy in his responses. So I just don't know which way to go on this one. But yeah. And then once this story broke, a lot of people started talking about how, a couple documentary makers, a couple of smaller filmmakers, anytime anybody essentially reaches out to put her into something, the smiling sarcastic guy shows up, and they essentially go, "Well, we are the captain now." I'm very pleased with this.
Baldoni, for his part, denied the allegations from the outset, characterizing the situation as a series of misunderstandings and defending his team's actions as standard industry practice. The dispute escalated into a sprawling legal fight that also dragged in Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, after Baldoni filed a $400 million defamation lawsuit against the couple that was later dismissed. Now, with the majority of Lively's claims thrown out, the narrative surrounding the case has shifted dramatically. For Blake Lively and Reynolds, this lawsuit outcome raises a larger issue. What exactly was gained from this legal crusade? What began as a high-profile attempt to call out alleged misconduct has instead resulted in a significantly narrowed case, one that no longer includes the most serious accusations or the central figure they were aimed at. Beyond the courtroom, the fallout from this case has also spilled into the public eye in ways that may prove even more damaging. As part of the broader legal battle, previously unseen communications and behind-the-scenes details have begun to surface, offering a glimpse into how Lively and Reynolds allegedly operate when the cameras aren't rolling. For many observers, that exposure has raised uncomfortable questions about how business is conducted and how relationships are managed behind the scenes in Hollywood. Questions that weren't part of the original lawsuit, but are now impossible to ignore. There have also been reports of personal fallout tied to the case, including claims that Lively's longtime friendship with Taylor Swift is fractured after the singer was pulled into the broader legal narrative. While details remain largely private, the situation has only added to the perception that this legal fight has created more problems than it solved. Meanwhile, Baldoni walks away from this phase of the case with a clear legal win and a strengthened position heading into whatever remains. Jury selection is still scheduled to begin in May, but at this point it's no longer the same case that made headlines just weeks ago. The Blake Lively lawsuit isn't over, but it's been fundamentally changed, and not in her favor.
We got to also note, too, that the only reason Baldoni's part was thrown out is because of those nonsensical laws that Newsom signed into existence, during the height of Me Too. So where essentially, as a man, you are not allowed to defend yourself. So this did not go their way, and they are going to deserve every single thing that they get, because this was a brazen I'm going to ruin this guy to raise my station play.
The only thing that this accomplished was showing everybody exactly who her and Ryan Reynolds actually are.
But
that's the only thing that was accomplished here.
She also roped in Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and Taylor Swift and all of these
Well-
people got pulled into it too.
The other thing that happened is that she lost her best friend. Taylor Swift won't associate with her anymore after she got dragged into it all.
Mhm.
So I mean, like, she ruined her own life with this.
Mhm.
Did we just lose
Ooh.
Lorn?
Did he drop out?
Yeah.
I guess so.
All right. Well, so when you go back and watch the gag reel on Wolverine Deadpool now, you kind of understand some comments that Jennifer Garner makes when she's looking at the Scarlet Witch statue, and she keeps calling it Blake Lively. It's like, because there is a long-standing rumor that she she indulged herself during the filming of The Town.
Oh. Well, I mean, there's also the rumor that during Gossip Girl, she was farting on the set constantly.
Yeah. Toot, 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 toot.
Any chance you think she was auditioning for a particular comic character?
Oof.
So when I read some of the things the judge wrote about this case, it struck me that the judge is probably protecting the industry more than he's protecting Baldoni, or even really even than ruling in Baldoni's case.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what the judge wrote were things like you have to allow for some artistic license that goes beyond the script and the production of these movies and things like that. And it seemed to me a ruling that was geared towards making sure that people with money and power get to keep doing what they want to do. And Baldoni just happens to be the beneficiary of that.
Yeah.
Well, it's trying to keep an entire industry from collapsing, is what it's doing.
Right.
And
But
they're already
you look
well
at
on the
so
way
many
to
cases. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they're well on the way to collapsing their industry on their own. They don't need any help.
Mm-hmm. You look at so many cases involving the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the entertainment industry, and it always favors the industry over the individual creator. There was a competitor to Netflix that was trying to pop up that would allow people to have access to things that had not been licensed for digital streaming, because they would go and buy the actual discs and then have a bank of DVD players and Blu-ray players that you could access. So you are streaming from a DVD player across the internet, but there exists a single copy of the thing that you alone are watching. So the license requirement theoretically has been met. You are licensed to watch that one thing, to rent that for this time period. And the Ninth Circuit ended up killing that business model under the argument that, well, no, that's still digital streaming and it's not licensed for digital streaming. Okay, there's an argument to be made there, but it's also protecting the powerful people.
Well, our next one up is One Piece Season 2. Viewership drops 34% from Season 1. Netflix future in doubt. And based on all of the commentary I had heard around this show, this actually kind of surprises me a little bit.
Me too.
One Piece Season 2 is undoubtedly a hit for Netflix, and One Piece Mania is seemingly taking the world by storm, with renewed interest in the original manga and the anime adaptation, which is about to enter the Elba arc. I hope I pronounced that right. One of the earlier story arcs in the final saga, the last stretch before the end of the overarching story. However, there is a dark pall over all the One Piece excitement as Netflix reports that viewership for Season 2 is lagging behind Season 1. According to what's on Netflix, the viewership for One Piece Season 2 trails that of One Piece Season 1 by 33.71% after about 2 weeks. To be fair, this is based on a linear estimate of Season 1's viewership between Day 10, which had 37,800,000 viewers, and Day 17, which had 47,800,000 views. One Piece Season 2, however, had 27,090,000 reviews on Day 13 of its run, putting it 14.18 million views and 33.71% behind Season 1. Despite One Piece Season 2's success, that's a significant drop between seasons, and it can't be good for the show's long-term prospects. Early signs suggested this was a possibility, as One Piece Season 2 had lower viewership totals than Season 1 in its first 4 days. But these could have been explained by certain external factors, such as Season 1 debuting over the summer, when kids were out of school and had more time to watch a TV show. while season 2 arrived on Netflix in March, after February's winter break and before April's spring break, when kids were still in school. But with the gap widening over time,
Oop, gone again.
Did Netflix get to him?
Don't you talk about it, Lorn.
I'm surprised at this story and disappointed too, because my wife and I are watching it. We're about halfway through second season, and we're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I wonder, is it just a timing thing? When did it release last year?
Well, that's 3 years ago, actually.
Three.
Which is- It's part of the. It was 2003, 2023, and that's part of the problem. I think you just can't capitalize on fan engagement like that with these massive gaps. Now, at the same time, they built real sets, like whole city pieces and things like that. So, and that's not
to make that kind of investment. Yeah, you kind of need something like this to blow up, to make sure that we kind of return back to this trend, because you know, I do think that as well, I think people are craving you know, actual set pieces and practical effects again.
Yeah. Oh, like never before. Especially now with AI, now that anyone can make, you know, big, huge CGI set pieces on their computer, making you know, actual sets and props is going to be the thing that differentiates Hollywood again.
One Piece has these snail telephones that appear in the anime and the manga, and they've brought them into the world of the live action one, and my wife finds them adorable. She wants one.
So I have no idea where I dropped out, guys. I apologize for that. Apparently, my browser is just extremely unstable tonight.
You were talking
about the timeline.
The timeline.
Yeah, I think the last thing I remember you saying was about the April spring break, and you got a little bit past that, but not much.
Yeah, well, the gist of it is that they've lost about 33% of their viewership, and that it raises questions about whether or not they're going to continue to invest in the show. Based on the article, it sounds like the producers are hoping that they'll be able to do something like 12 seasons, because apparently this ongoing story it's not even finished yet in the manga, and it's been going on since 97.
It's over 1,000 chapters. They're going to finish it. I think, like, I look, I don't think that, like, I don't know. I personally don't think that they're going. I think you have to watch, because something like Netflix, you have to watch the numbers as it goes for weeks and weeks and weeks, not just when it first drops. Because some people get to it later, especially for something that just drops all at once, like One Piece did. So yeah, I don't think they're particularly concerned.
Yeah, I mean, also when you look at where we were 3 years ago, you know, people weren't going back to the movies yet. There were still entirely too many streaming services, but there wasn't a lot out there, you know, just so now you see a little bit too much choice. I also too, I think the urgency is a little different. I think people get to it in time. I just don't. But also too, like Martin was saying earlier, they got to find a way to get this content out faster. I mean, when you think about 3 years later, that means that your high school freshman is now in their senior year. So there was a whole lot of things to distract them and not have them come back right away. Unless they're you know, a more hardcore fan, chances are you did lose a chunk of your audience. This is kind of some of my bewilderment with why it's taking so long to get this third Spider-Verse movie out.
Oh, they are still doing that? Because I remember they put it on indefinite hiatus or something.
Yeah, I saw a little something about it not too long ago. I think there was like something about they were doing something. They were giving Peter B. Parker a storyline, but I'm like, well, by the time this movie comes out, I can't remember how. So I went with my middle daughter because she was just all Spider-Man at the time. And like, by the time this movie comes out, she's going to be in high school.
And those are actually done by Lloyd and Miller as well, or Lord and Miller, I mean, right? The Spider-Verse movies.
Mhm.
So it was probably on definite hiatus because they were working on Hail Mary.
Well, something happened right after the second Spider-Verse movie was released. I can't remember what it was, but something happened, and then immediately they announced, "Okay, well, we're going to wait on this one."
Well, you
Is it
know,
long enough ago that it was the lockdowns? Can't be
no,
that.
No, it was
I don't
after.
think so.
It was after. It was post lockdown. When
you-
the first one came out before the lockdowns, and this one came out after the lockdowns. But again, but we say I've been really complaining about this going back to The Sopranos. Once you get past the second season, you get those giant gaps in between. It's I'm like, I don't know. They're being a little risky with making people wait for content. It's you know, it's I don't know. Americans don't watch TV like our British friends. They're a little more accustomed to shorter runs. And
Mhm.
I wish I had time. I would have actually read something that Sterling K. Brown had said during an interview that I thought was absolutely fantastic because he spoke about the network TV has longer episode counts because they make money off of advertisers, so they're inclined to want to go longer. And cable and streaming, they're subscriber based, so they don't care. They have no problem putting out 6 to 8 episodes and keeping it moving and making you wait. So he said the only way to change it is to stop to stop signing for the subscription services, and he doesn't see people not doing that anytime soon. My big grievance has been for a long time. It's like, well, one, you need to start going back to a little bit of a longer form of storytelling because a lot of times these characters don't have room to breathe. And then when you do the filler episode, it feels a lot more drastic and jarring because you know that they didn't have anything for you in this episode.
You know what was wild to me tonight was thinking about seasons on TV. They used to go like 22, 23, up to 26 uh, uh, episodes a season.
Well, if you go back to
You,
Bonanza, it's like 35 episodes a season.
Yeah.
well, tonight I was looking up the original animated He-Man show. Do you know how many episodes they had in the season of He-Man?
I think they won almost the entire year. I think there wasn't at least an episode.
Yeah, some of those first seasons of cartoons are like 66.
They had 65. 65. I couldn't believe it. It's like
Power Rangers, the original season of Power Rangers had 60.
It's nuts. I do have a couple super chats to get to, and then I need to announce something that I forgot to that I was supposed to in the intro. So, first up, we've got Snarky Distinct for $4.99. Hey, my favorite decade presented by some great chumps. Love you. Thanks, Snark. And a Chameleon Strikes for $2 Australian. I so wanted to see her defend her unscripted kiss.
Yeah.
So I did want to announce something. I've been talking up having you guys show up for the Lorn and the Apollo show on this next Tuesday. Wanted to let you know that we have a special guest who's going to be joining us. I'm really excited about this. This is a man named Andrew Nelson, who is a former Lucasfilm and LucasArts employee. He had about a 12-year tenure with the company. He is also credited as being the person who has portrayed Darth Vader in person in the suit more than any other actor, and that is for both some full motion video sequences in LucasArts computer games, as well as special events and promotional material. So he is actually aware of and a fan of the show, and reached out to us, and we asked if he wanted to appear, and he's happily going to be coming aboard on Tuesday. So I really hope you guys will show up for this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Marvin, you've talked to him a little bit as well. Is there any more you want to add to that I forgot?
Yeah, just a really nice guy. He's doing a lot of stuff, which I'm sure you're going to be talking to him about on Tuesday. So he reached out to me first through that Park Place, and I immediately was like, I've got to introduce Lorn to this guy, and because I was like, this is a perfect guest for you. So it's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely great. I think you're going to have an amazing interview.
So be sure, folks, spread the word. Let people know that we're going to have a former LucasArts and Lucasfilm employee on the show. He is a Star Wars aficionado and fan, and he's still working. And he's still working in the entertainment industry. So be sure to think about questions that you'd like to ask and super chat in.
Sure.
Marv, I know that you're feeling a little rough. I do want to hit your movies real quick, if we can.
I mean, I didn't really have very many of them.
Yep, I know. We got 5. We'll hit them as fast as we possibly
Well,
can.
3 of them are yours. They're on your list already.
Yeah, but I was going to give them to you.
You can keep them.
All right. We'll just do the 2 then. Big baby. All right, so I'll claim them as mine when we get around to them. But for the record, yours were Airplane,
Mm-hmm.
Popeye, Superman 2. Those are the ones that we shared.
Yes.
And you also had Caddyshack.
This is one of my favorites, man. Like, my dad introduced me to this movie. My dad, he actually like set up the 2 VCRs and like edited the movie to take out all the nudity so that I could actually watch it. And yeah, I love this movie. Is so good. Like, there's that one scene with Chevy Chase and Bill Murray that's all ad-libbed. It's just it's
Pond would be good for you.
It's a phenomenal film. Absolutely amazing. I absolutely it is up until Happy Gilmore, it had been the only good golf movie, but
Hey, don't besmirch Tin Cup.
yeah, I think about Caddyshack all the time. Like, at least a couple times a week, a quote from Caddyshack or a scene from Caddyshack will pop into my head.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah, you got that going for you.
I think about how Judge Smales is actually the good guy.
Yeah, anytime that I'm ever in like pouring rain, I always go, "That's all right. I don't think the heavy stuff's coming down for quite some time."
And the next one up, I should have known. Raging Bull.
I mean, come on, Raging Bull's amazing. It's a great boxing movie. It had great fights in it. I haven't seen it since college, so I'm due for a rewatch. But man, back when I could stand to look at Robert De Niro, this was a fun one. Really, really liked it.
Kevin, you got anything to say about this one? I thought that you might.
Oh no, I just love this movie. I actually had more to say about Popeye than anything else.
All right, we'll get to that one soon. Marvin, do you have anything you need to plug before you need to go?
No. Chuck Dixon is going to be coming on the M4 cast on Thursday, and we have a Mario Galaxy spoiler-free review up on the page right now that nobody's watching. So please watch it.
All right, Marv. Thanks for showing up here tonight. I hope you feel better soon.
See you. Thanks.
You bet. Bye. Looks like we had another couple of super chats come in real quick. One's from Ewan Cumia for $1.99 saying Midnight Express came out in 1980. That's the Charles Grodin movie, isn't it? Or am I thinking of a different one?
I think that's right.
I think that's right.
And it got remade a couple of times.
I remember it, but only vaguely.
Midnight Run. It's Midnight Run is the Charles Grodin one.
Oh, Midnight Express is the one about the guy who got thrown in jail in Turkey.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
but
so
I thought that was in the late 70s.
I thought that was 78, though.
Well,
78, 77. Oh, no, it definitely 1978.
Is Midnight Express.
Yeah.
In your face, Ewan Cumia. I don't know. I apparently wasn't familiar with it, so maybe we'll have to check it out. SFX Sabertooth Raptor for 5. May the Lorn be with you. Have a great Easter all. One Lorn to rule them all. One Lorn to find them. One Lorn to fix Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, etc. I'd probably only tackle one of those. I think I'd have to leave the others to somebody else. But thank you. Appreciate it. Let's see. Our next story up is Whoops. And just so everybody knows, it seems to be when I'm sharing the stories that my browser goes all unstable. So if I drop this time, what I'm going to do is I'll reboot and I'll come back and we'll set things up again. I apologize for the instability this week, guys. Hopefully we'll be fine. This story is HBO Harry Potter reboot behind-the-scenes special Finding Harry counters backlash over race swap Snape and dark trailer. HBO is set to release an exclusive behind-the-scenes special for their Harry Potter show, the upcoming reboot series of the beloved boy wizard called Finding Harry, The Craft Behind the Magic, which will feature interviews with cast members such as John Lithgow, Papa Asidu, Janet McTeer, and more. This HBO Harry Potter behind-the-scenes special will air on Sunday, April 5th, Easter Sunday, which is a good 8 months before the first season of the show airs. The special is narrated by Nick Frost, who plays Hagrid, and chronicles the search for the Golden Trio that, as we know, ultimately led the producers to Dominic McLaughlin, Alastair Stout, and Arabella Stanton. If you'd like to check out the teaser, watch the video here on the HBO site. A synopsis of the special via The Hollywood Reporter reads, "It's been 25 years since audiences first walked the hallowed halls of Hogwarts. Now this exclusive special offers an inside look at the epic scale and meticulous care behind HBO's new Harry Potter series, told through the lens of the artists, craftspeople, and technicians bringing J.K. Rowling's beloved books to life for a new generation. Featuring interviews with members of the casting, production design, costume design, and creature effects teams, the special chronicles the extensive process behind finding our new Harry, Ron, and Hermione, while celebrating the awe-inspiring commitment to detail and immense talent that has come together to fill out this extraordinary world." Now, if only the comment about awe-inspiring commitment to detail went beyond just the sets, and a majority of the cast member besides one who, as mentioned in a previous article regarding the BFI, came as a shock but is likely less a principled stand and more of a deliberate change in order to gain awards and tax breaks. Why release this special now when the first episode of the very first season is so far away?
Mm-hmm.
We can speculate on a few reasons, so we may as well dive right in. As we've seen from the online reactions to the first teaser trailer, the biggest criticism of such a stark change is the race-swapping of Professor Severus Snape, which in turn has created a flurry of humorous memes that softens the blow a bit. The next biggest issue fans noticed was how dark the trailer looked, and no, I do not mean the tone of the story, but quite literally the lighting. HBO is known for its serious dramatic sheen in the series it produces, which works well for a series like Game of Thrones that is considered a grim dark fantasy. The first novel in the Harry Potter series was full of wonder at discovering a new world hidden within our own, and finding a place where one belongs after years of feeling like an outsider. That being the case, the color grading of the first trailer makes one think it's trying to be more of a serious drama than a light-hearted coming-of-age story, at least for the first novel. As the series progresses and Harry learns more about his destiny, the story does indeed take a darker turn, but it still holds on to hope and love, which is at the very core of the book and the reason, spoiler, although the books and films have been out for a minute. However, if you wish not to be spoiled, don't listen to what I say next. Harry survived the killing curse. It should also be taken into account that HBO is not a stranger to putting out these behind-the-scenes specials, which in turn ended up embarrassing the showrunners, like the ones for Game of Thrones, The Last Watch, which showed some of the actors' clear dislike of the way the show ended. Another recent famous one is Netflix's Stranger Things documentary, One Last Adventure, which showed how poorly planned the final season was. Will the HBO Harry Potter behind-the-scenes special be just as embarrassing? Overall, we cannot deny that this Harry Potter reboot won't do great numbers, especially when the first episode airs this Christmas Day. But how long that audience will stick around afterwards remains to be seen. Fans have wanted the truly faithful adaptation of the books, as the films failed to touch on details that were quite important to the plot, leaving moviegoers rather ignorant of the deeper nitty-gritty details from the text. So I don't know, guys.
Yeah, I don't know either, Lorn.
Yeah.
That was me pushing the wrong button in this case. I'm just not on my game tonight. I can understand why they're putting the special out 8 months early. I think they are trying to drum up some early interest. This is like releasing a teaser or a first trailer that doesn't tell you that much. They're just trying to let you know the production is coming and it's going to be here soon. It's likely also here to combat the narrative that they're hearing from the fans that are less than pleased with the casting. I'm still a little shocked by the trailer, mainly the tone of it, and I think that comes down a lot to the lighting and the framing as well. The thing that shocked me the most, I still have a really big problem with casting Papa Asidu as Snape, just because I think that it changes the context of the conflict between him and James and his crew, and I think that changes the text, and I don't like
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
I
I have a theory. Oh, sorry,
Go
go ahead,
ahead.
Martin. No, go ahead, Martin. I will defer to you.
We have been joking about this for a while, and I even sent you guys my AI generated cast stuff with Sirius Black as a black guy.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's the only way to diffuse the the new racial component that would be added would be if James is going to be white, and if Harry's white, then James is obviously going to be white unless they're adopted. But for at least one of the members of the Marauders to also be black, and it really does kind of need to be serious if you're going to demonstrate that Harry is not just suspicious of the black guy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that theory. I heard another one that I think was made in jest, but that was that maybe they would shift the love interest of Severus to James instead of Lily. And I don't think that works either.
Maybe
Um,
maybe Netflix.
yeah.
Maybe
I
that was
think
a sales pitch.
the other thing that shocked me about the trailer, and I'm hoping maybe it's just because this is their first teaser, really, is the Dursleys. They struck me as much more actual abusive as opposed to the normal
Mhm.
Roald Dahl kind of comedic awful people.
Yeah.
And I think that also changes the tone. And it just left me scratching my head about what are we doing with this show? I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I do feel like tonally the trailer's a mismatch.
I am going back and listening to the full cast recordings with my kids, and the Durstleys. It's not just the zany stuff that we saw in the movies. In the books, it's darker. Um, Vernon threatens to flay Harry. They actually do board him up in his room and don't feed him for some period of time before the Ron and his brothers come and break him out using the flying Fort Anglia. It is
Right.
darker,
Well, yes, but in British text, children's text especially,
right? And Roald Dahl is, yeah.
right. That's the model because yes, they're doing awful things, but it still comes across comedic because you get the tone.
Mhm.
I didn't get any of that tone from the trailer at all. I didn't feel whimsy, I
Yeah.
guess. One of the things I was left wondering, I haven't mentioned this yet, but it made me think about once you get to book 2, how are they going to handle the house elves? Are they going to be the way that they were in the Warner Brothers movies, or are they going to be a completely different interpretation?
I don't know how you don't dive into that, being that it was such a big part of Hermione's story, and we've got all this ground to cover.
And it's also
I,
part of Ron's story too.
and when you think about it, it's like that's a really dark part of the story too. If they
Mhm.
take that really dark, this could be a really grim series, and that just feels weird.
There are some going to be some things that can diffuse that, like the fact that when Dobby goes to Hogwarts to get a job, Dumbledore tries to pay him like a fair wage, and Dobby's like, no, 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 not that much. I don't want that much. I'm not going to debase myself. I just want some money.
Well, what do you think about the behind the scenes thing? Do you think it's going to help? Do you think it will shed some light on some of the decisions that have been made, or do you think it's going to hurt?
No, I have a theory because I think that they took a gamble with some stunt casting and didn't really think through the consequences of it. And I think a lot of it has to do with because Rowling is so divisive amongst one side of the aisle. They decided to go cast Papa Asidu in hopes that in hopes that the evil MAGA types would have this over the top reaction and pull all of the attention away from her. And instead, all they did was irritate everybody equally on all sides. And now they're stuck with this giant mess that does have a lot of things that they didn't think of at the time. Like, hey, Snape is now black, and you have there's a giant section of his story that involves bullying. Now this is going to come across like racial bullying. There's a whole new subtext that did not exist that's going to permeate the story. That's going to fundamentally change the story.
And in the original text, there were subplots that dealt with those kind of issues, but in a safe way. That's what the house elves were. That's what the Death Eaters and the Mudbloods was. It was allegorical without introducing those concepts in a way that could be offensive to the audience. So I don't know.
That's the modern, the postmodern desire to make sure that everything is on the nose, but there are consequences with that. And again, I just don't think I think they really hoped that, well, because they also don't know other people who have differing opinions. They really thought that there was going to be a march of troglodytes screaming and screaming and having torches over this man being cast, and it's really just become one massive meme factory after another because everybody understands how ridiculous this is.
And then you get the weird situation where grown women who have been fans since high school, early college, just checked out the second that that the casting was announced, and they didn't check out with like a big fury. They just kind of went, "Oh, this one's not for me."
Well, think about it too, like it's also because apart from the bizarre little racial subtext that we have now, they also broke one of the cardinal rules of writing a story, and that your job is not to do something that removes the reader from the story. This is such a drastic change that it immediately makes you go, no, this is stupid.
It breaks the suspension of disbelief. I think you're right. All right, so let me ask you one final question on the topic, and then we can move on. The Warner Brothers movies, it kind of shocks me when I read this because it doesn't seem like that long ago, but they did start 25 years ago. And there is going to be a younger crowd that is not necessarily going to be familiar with them, and this show may be their introduction if their parents let them watch it. Do you think this will become their Harry Potter? Or do you think this, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think this has the chance to be a cultural touchstone like the Warner Brothers movies were, or do you think it'll be forgotten in the long run?
I don't think it'll be as big because it's going to be paywalled, for one. But also, those movies were lightning in a bottle. In fact, I would even venture to say that there are a lot of people who consider themselves Harry Potter super fans that didn't read the books. They just watched the movies because so much of what people think they know about the books is wrong because what they're actually reacting to and thinking about is what they saw in the movies.
Yep. What do you think, Kevin? Same?
No, I agree. I'm curious to see where we're going to wind up in a few years once the Paramount merger is complete. Where the show winds up, because it seems to be the Ellisons are looking to kind of trim down the fat with all the streaming services. So do you put this on HBO proper? And probably when the kids are a little bit older and you can probably make a little bit more off of them, or off of the story. But again, it's behind the paywall, so it's not going to get as many eyes. We understand this was a desperation attempt to get people to want to buy Max outside of when the Game of Thrones season, isn't running.
Yep.
But also too, I do think that you're going to have a little bit of resistance from, I think you're going to have far too many moms going, well, this is my Harry Potter, and my Harry Potter is better than your Harry Potter. There's going to be weird conflict that doesn't need to exist.
So you think there's going to be the Star Wars generational divide in the Harry Potter fandom?
I do think so. The only difference being that Lucas was at least smart enough to continue the story. So everybody jumped on the train. You may have aired some grievances about the tone, but everybody showed up because they wanted to see where the story was going. And I'm only talking about sequels. I mean prequels versus OG.
Right.
The
And it was coming from a singular vision. It was one
Yeah.
person that was dictating what was. So even if you didn't like what he did, you couldn't deny it's the creator doing it.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be weird. I think the timing of it is a little weird. I really think they should have just really sat down and figured out how to move the story forward, as opposed to going in for just a straight reboot. But I also understand, hey, you've got the money, you need to fill the programming, and the best way to do it is to actually just pour through these very thick books and touch on stuff that got left out of the movies. And maybe that'll be the big difference maker, is that like Mark said, the super fans who've only looked at the movies and are missing giant chunks of the story, that it will compel them enough to want to learn more and expand the lore. So that maybe that's the pull. I don't. It's just interesting.
But then we also found out they're adding things that weren't even in the books. They're creating additional context. I think we saw some set photos that people are saying are Flamel and his wife, maybe, and that they don't appear in the book. They just referenced.
Interesting.
We do have some super chats again. We have Archer Merchant for 2 saying, AKA damage control special, which I think is insightful. We have Mr. Dak. I almost said Dr. Mac. Sorry about that. Becoming a new YouTube member. Welcome to the Madhouse, and also generously gifting 10 WDW Pro memberships. So thank you for that gift to the chat. Folks, if you receive one of the memberships here from Mr. Dak, be sure to thank him. We always appreciate the support. And we have Archer Merchant again for 5 saying, I genuinely feel this could bomb. The light tone translated well for the originals. If that's the case, I don't see more than 1, maybe 2 seasons. What do y'all think about that? I think they've got enough investment in that I think they've got to go at least 3.
I don't know how you don't do your best to try to finish it. Well, I'll put it like this. I don't think they have a choice but to finish it and to try to find some success in it all, because this is a tremendous investment, and if this bombs, it kills the franchise for a couple of decades.
Yes, that's a point, but I also see a potential out for them, although I don't really want to give voice to it.
Sorry, go ahead.
In the original movies, Richard Harris passed away and had to be replaced by Michael Gambon. And John Lithgow is not getting any younger, and this is going to be at least a 10-year commitment, and I don't want to wish anything bad on him. But if things are not going well with the show and he had a health issue, I could see them potentially using that as an excuse not to recast, but to say that we just can't continue without him.
I get that. And I could see them doing it. But this is a giant amount of money. So I could be completely wrong about this, but if they can't make a Harry Potter series stick, that's a giant embarrassment to them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times these production houses can't afford to look embarrassed. And as long as it stays on HBO Max, they can hide the numbers.
That's true. That is true. I just keep thinking about Fantastic Beasts and the train wreck that became.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what led them back to this, is that they couldn't figure out what to do with the property. They know it's super popular. They know people are diehard fans of it, but they couldn't extend it without Rowling's blessing. So all they could do was reboot it. And
it's crazy to me that they couldn't do like a 1970s period piece Marauders series.
I think that's and isn't that what, well, at least in conversations with Trish, that's what people were looking for and wanting anyway. And
but they'd have to have J.K. write it though, and she won't.
Some of that is, I think she's a little has a little bit of trepidation about going back and having to explore some things there because she can't quite crack the story the way she wants to. And Fantastic Beasts, you know, if they had just stuck by Johnny Depp, that third one probably would have done a lot better. It's not, you know, the Mads Dixon does he great in whatever it is that he does. But he just took his Hannibal Lecter and brought it to Harry Potter, and it just people wanted to see Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
And it just there was no urgency to go see it, and then you had the people who just didn't want to watch it, and the WB chopped its nose off to spite its face, and
but that third movie, the third movie also had some real structural problems. It is not structured like a motion picture; it's structured like a book, and character introductions are handled like you would handle them in a novel.
You talking about Prisoner of Azkaban?
No, the third Fantastic Beasts movie.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Like when you get introduced to Dumbledore's, it's basically a heist team, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But when they're all on that train, you get introduced to 5 people all at the same time with these quick descriptions of what they do. That sort of thing can work in a novel. It's just not how we're used to that happening in a movie.
Yeah, you need the montage that goes along with the exposition. Even if it's the slower Frank Sinatra version of Ocean's 11, you still have to give me a reason to why I need to care about these folks.
And it can just be Sammy Davis scatting EO 11.
All right, guys, we should probably get to our main topic. There are a couple more stories we can cover if we end up short, because I know that we actually have a smaller number of movies than we normally would tonight. But we'll go ahead and jump in real quick. And I'm going to do mine first because Marvin's actually contained some of mine, so we'll get these out of the way. The first one is Airplane. And this is sort of a torturous choice for me because I love this movie. I loved this movie growing up. I can't tell you how many times I watched this movie. The staying alive scene, I think, is one of the funniest scenes in cinema. It's got the ludicrous humor and Leslie Nielsen being Leslie Nielsen. It's just a funny, funny movie in so many ways. It's got so many jokes packed from end to end in this movie. But when you watch it in the modern context, I watched it with my son, and trying to figure out how do I even explain half of these jokes to him. Because it's like, it is a world that is, we live in such a different world now. It's like half of this, how do I tell, what's a Hare Krishna? Yeah.
Right.
It's like the idea that you didn't have security checkpoints in airports at the time, that people could just meet you at the gate. Smoking on a plane, jive. He's not going to know what jive is. It's like, and the problem is, humor unfortunately can be so attached to the time that to explain the joke is to take all of the humor out of it. You can't explain comedy. And so, while I personally love it and I think it's a brilliant movie, I could understand my son or anybody that's 20 years younger than me looking at this and going, what is this? Why is this funny? Why do you like this? So it's kind of a personal choice.
Have you ever seen 0 Hour, the movie it's based on?
No, but I did see Airport, which has got some parts of it as well, I think.
Yeah. It's almost at some points, it's a shot-for-shot remake of a 1957 movie, 0 Hour.
And LK8181 is saying, but there are still a ton of timeless jokes in it. Sure, there's lots of jokes that I think would still land, but I feel like half of them wouldn't, or would go right over the head of somebody today. Some of this stuff you just had to be there for.
I think because we are like, I think between the three of us, we're like on that weird cusp of, if we had watched this movie a little bit later in life, we probably wouldn't have found it as funny. But
Right.
I think a lot of that comes from we just had exposure to so much more of the past culture, like
Mhm.
through syndicated TV, that when you sat down to watch it, even though you didn't really quite get the joke, maybe as well as your parents or aunt and uncle did, but it was still enough that you enjoyed it. And then when you went back and watched it after you accrued more knowledge about what the world was like, oh, now you know why the Harry Krishna part's funny. Now you know why the talking jive part's really funny.
With
You
Mrs.
know,
Cleaver.
the
Yes.
scene that kills me is the disco scene in the dive bar when I just love it because you got sight gags, you got sound effect gags, and there's the moment when he gets off the dance floor and she is dancing with the other guy who's got the knife in his back and he's
Yes,
trying to
I was
pull
just
it.
thinking of that. I love that
It's
he's in his navy whites and it looks perfect, and then he rips the jacket off and suddenly it's a Saturday Night Fever outfit.
yeah, the whole thing just slays me. I think it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen,
The
but
Girl
it's one of
Scouts
those
knife fighting.
yeah, it's just one of those things you kind of had to be there for. Um, my next one is Popeye, and I kind of have a weird relationship with this movie because I grew up loving this movie, but I've heard that a lot of people don't like it. That it apparently wasn't that popular, and that came as kind of a revelation to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this falls in the bomb category,
It
but
it does.
I feel like, well, so I always thought, because when I was in Catholic school, if we had a rain day, Popeye was one of the movies that played. Occasionally, it was Song of the South, but the but Popeye and Annie were always the rain day movies that were playing. The and I don't know if it's because I loved Popeye back then, so I don't think you get better casting than Robin Williams or frankly Shelley Duvall at that point. The
Mhm.
it's I mean it looks just like the cartoons.
They embodied the characters.
They really did. And the filming in Malta and the sets were great. But I just don't like Robert Altman's direction in almost anything. Now, this is one of my favorite movies of his.
I,
So, take that as you will.
So
I
do
don't
you
know. I loved it. I loved I'm not normally a guy that really likes a lot of musical numbers in movies. I'm not a musical fan. I liked the music in this movie.
He's large.
so do you think if we had a different director, this does better, and maybe it has a little more cultural relevance outside of it's Popeye?
I don't know, because I think you need somebody like Altman who is probably smoking bales of inebriant to
Well,
make this movie that way.
it kind of makes me sad that I guess this movie was not as beloved as I thought it was. I loved it as a kid, and I always just assumed that everybody loved this movie. So I was
No.
surprised to find out that it bombed
Mhm.
and apparently didn't really find an audience.
I do think though that it has been again mostly probably because we have aged. We've aged, that this movie is viewed a little more fondly than it was when we were younger.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I like I was saying, I don't generally like Altman. This is one of my favorite things he did, though.
My next one, I know Kevin's going to be excited about this. Superman 2. Now, this also gets a little bit weird for me because growing up, Superman 2 was my favorite Superman movie. It's got General Zod and Ursa and Non and all of that stuff. I thought that they were amazing characters. Um, but now that I'm older, Superman the movie is superior. And I can't deny it. And I've seen both cuts. I've seen the theatrical cut and the Richard
Mhm.
Lester cut. The downside to the Lester cut is that he's basically reusing the ending of the first movie, and so it's still not what I think it could have been or should have been. So I think
Yeah.
I prefer the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
But
I do feel bad because they forced him to use the ending of his second movie for the
in the
first movie.
first, yep. Yeah, and at the time, it's kind of hard to overstate how big Superman was. Superman as a franchise, I would say until Superman 3, was tremendous.
Yeah.
And Christopher Reeve embodied the character. He was Superman for an entire generation. I think the same way that George Reeves was for the earlier generation, but the flight effects were so groundbreaking for the first movie that the tagline really did make sense. The audience really did believe a guy could fly for a little
Yeah.
while because they were coming up with incredible tricks to make that all work. Despite kind of how Margot Kidder's life went later on. I think she had great chemistry with Christopher Reeve. I can't think of the name of the guy who played Jimmy Olsen. I thought he was great for the character.
He's the last
And
one left, right?
Yeah,
well,
last man
yeah, as far
standing.
as I know, yeah.
My wife and I were just talking about Margot Kidder as Lois Lane, and she's not a fan. But I was trying to kind of stick up for the movie, saying Lois Lane's supposed to be like this brassy reporter, and she plays it that way. Some of the complaints I think are due to the way she's playing it, not so much her craft as an actress.
Yeah, when she starts throwing herself out of windows to try and expose that Clark is Superman, I think that goes a little over the edge. But
yeah, but that's Silver Age kind of stuff.
But come on, I can spend days talking about how unhinged Silver Age is.
All right, fair enough. But I think if you were going to take the long line of Lois Lanes that we've seen, I could put Noelle Neal up there, Margot Kidder, and I think, and I can't think of her name, I liked the performance of the gal in the last Superman movie with James Gunn. I'm not
Rachel
sure.
Brosnahan?
Oh, brother, yeah.
Yes, thank you. Her, you could say, I can't think of her name, the gal from Smallville.
Oh, Erica Durance? Yeah, she was
Erica
phenomenal.
Durance. She did great, but out of all of them, the one that I'm going to think of when I think of Lois, and maybe this is because of the time that I grew up, my first thought's always going to be Margot Kidder because that was Lois.
Yeah.
And I think for some people, say mid-30s and down, it's probably Erica Durance because Smallville ran so long.
Yeah.
And Erica Durance is everything great about Dana Delaney's animated series version and what you liked about Margot Kidder.
I also want to give a special mention to I'm terrible for names tonight. General Zod, Terrence Stamp.
Yep.
Also, and this is one of the things that I think, even though he hated the experience and was very venomous in the press about it, I think it was inspired casting by George Lucas to make him Chancellor Valorum. I thought that he was great in that character, and his voice alone did a lot of work in every production he was ever in. His voice and those icy blue eyes. But Zod, as a kid, was a menacing villain. You will kneel before me, Kal-El. You will kneel. Spectacular.
And doesn't he come back as Jor-El, the voice of Jor-El in Smallville?
Yeah.
He does. Yes, which I also thought was inspired casting. That was a really smart thing to do. I miss Terrence Stamp. I hate the fact that he passed away. Next up, and I'm not going to have much to say about this one because I don't really remember the movie, but I brought it up because culturally I think it was important. Stir Crazy.
This would have been on
There you go. Go for it, Kevin. You go off on it because this was a partnership between Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, and these guys loved each other and made a lot of movies together.
Oh yeah, it's one of those that I don't know if I'm fondly remembering Hear No Evil, See No Evil, but I think that Stir Crazy is my favorite of their pairings. I haven't seen this movie in ages, but I love this movie. I love this movie. This was a movie that when I was a kid, I'm also pretty sure that I had no business seeing it when I saw it, but whenever it was on, I would position myself into the room so that I could watch it out of someone's immediate eye line, so that I could sit there and just enjoy the movie.
Mhm.
To the point that it finally, shooing me away, which just was like, what's the point? He's seen so much of it. Who cares? The damage is done. But
Yeah, was it the laughing that would get you? It was for me sitting at the top of the stairs. I'd laugh at something, and my parents would look at me, like, go to bed.
every, every time.
Now, I don't remember. Was this their first movie together?
I don't
Oh,
know.
let me check.
I think it might have been.
But I think I may have seen an interview with Gene Wilder where he said he had always wished he'd been closer with Richard Pryor, but that Pryor was actually kind of distant
Oh,
sometimes.
this is the second one, because the first one is Silver Streak.
Oh, okay. There you go. Was it just the three that they did, or did they have more?
They had Another You, Hear No Evil, See No Evil. It was supposed to be them in Blazing Saddles.
Mhm.
And then I think maybe that's it.
I still say Cleavon Little's a better pick for Blazing
Oh
Saddles,
yeah,
because
yeah.
he softens it quite a bit.
Yeah. You needed someone a little softer. It would have been a very different movie with Pryor's style.
The next one up is one that I saw somebody mention in the chat. It is Any Which Way You Can, which was the sequel to.
Any Which Way But Loose?
Thank you. It's like, I don't know why I can't get
Because it's not
names
the
tonight.
Gauntlet.
Yeah. Which, this is not what I think of when I think of Clint Eastwood, but I kind of love that these exist. And I think this one is more fondly remembered than Any Which Way But Loose. I think it was seen as an improvement. And I think it just shows that at any point in an actor's career, they're going to have some oddball movies that you wouldn't expect. Think about this. This is the same guy that did Unforgiven.
Yep.
You know, isn't that weird?
Again, what, a year or two after Dirty Harry?
Yeah.
What's the one the Robert Urich one? So, like, because that one's brutal. It's like, yeah.
Third one?
Was that the third one?
Because Matheson's in the second one.
Okay. Oh yeah. Isn't Tim Matheson one of the?
Yeah, Matheson's is one of the young cops in the second.
Yeah. So yeah, Robert Urich's one of the last two to live, the last two of the young cops to make.
So
it
is
through.
the second, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like, you look at that second one, that's a gut punch movie. So you're like, and then he puts out a movie about a monkey hanging out with a monkey in a truck.
But sometimes I wonder. I always wonder how these things come about, because I don't usually think of Clint Eastwood for comedy,
Mhm.
But I'll bet he had fun with this. On the other hand,
Yeah.
knowing how deadly orangutans can be, it does make me wonder, how nervous are you doing this movie? Because it seems like this would be a way to maybe get into some trouble. Obviously, he didn't, but I'd be at least thinking about it a little,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at some point we need to do an episode devoted to absolutely insane movies that actors have done, like this, or Stallone with Rhinestone.
Yeah. Honestly, we should probably do this for the genre guys, because this would be a lot of times we like to do things that are movies that are known but are not the ones you would normally think of for an actor. So
Mhm.
this series might be a good one to tackle. Sorry, you had something more on it?
Well, I was just gonna say, if we don't have this movie, do we get BJ and the Bear, the TV series?
I doubt it. I think you're right. Next up for me is Smokey and the Bandit 2. Go ahead, Kevin. Hit it.
I love Smokey and the Bandit, and I love Smokey and the Bandit too. Yeah, I love these movies. I love these movies. I think Jackie Gleason is just so incredible, so incredible. And what is the name of his son? Oh God, yeah,
Junior.
yeah, Junior. Thank you. Junior's just so dumb. I just, yeah, yeah. I, I, I can't use the quote on this show, but I often go, "Shut your," because
I think Sally Field had never looked more lovely, and Burt had incomparable charisma at
yes,
this time in his career.
Mhm.
This is a genre movie that isn't made anymore. You don't really have these kind
Exploitation.
of probably because they're just worried that people are actually going to go out and do it, you know. But I don't know. I miss the old. This isn't exactly a road rally race kind of thing, but it's in the same kind of vein. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
this and oh, what is the name of the Cannonball Run?
Cannonball
uh-huh.
Run.
Yeah,
Mad,
and
mad,
that
mad, 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 mad world.
those used to be a whole genre of just the zany car chase and the corrupt policeman. You know, um, I, I think the last one that I can recall actually coming out, I maybe you could count the Fast and the Furious, but I don't. I don't feel like those are the same
It's a
thing.
heist movie.
Yeah,
That-
the closest one that I can think of was the remake of the Dukes of Hazzard that they did back in the early 2000s.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I just
brutally miscast Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Next one is Hopscotch.
Wow.
And this is one that we did for the genre guys sometime in the last year. I had never heard of it before Lou brought it up, and it's a really good movie. I was actually very pleasantly surprised by this. It's Mathau as a former CIA agent who is um, let's say retired early and doesn't like the fact that that's happened, and so he goes through a series of steps to expose his corrupt boss. It's a comedy, but it's a good comedy and it's a smart comedy, and it shows that he had a range that I didn't completely expect. um I assume you guys have seen this one. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
I didn't talk to you. Okay. uh what do you think of it, Martin?
it's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's a even though it's a comedy, it does conform to some of the harder edge spy stuff that you would see in the 70s. And I think it kind of paves the way for stuff like Spies Like Us.
Yes, yes, I think that's a good comparison. Kevin, do you know it?
I do. I haven't seen this in so long though. I don't really remember it. I saw this
Watch
when I was a little kid.
watch our genre guys review. I think you're both going to like my next one. I hope you do.
I'd say as long as it's not Xanadu, we should be okay.
No, we had to do another road movie, and this is a little bit of a departure from the original Herbie movie, but I have a soft spot in my heart for Herbie.
Mhm.
I watched all of them when I was a kid, and when my son was very young, I watched all of them with him again. This one's got Harvey Korman in it, which I think immediately jumps up the score at least
Mhm.
50%. I think Harvey Korman's one of the funniest men alive. Um, and, you know, it was just, you got to see Herbie a little bit beat up and go on a wild adventure that's outside the norm. I kind of wish they were still doing these. I don't really count the Lindsay Lohan movie. I don't know if you guys do.
Not really.
Not really, but it wasn't bad though. But
Wasn't there the made for TV one with Bruce Campbell?
oh
Was
yeah,
there?
I think there was.
yeah.
I've
There
never heard of that.
a Disney Channel movie.
With Bruce Campbell?
Yeah, pretty sure. It could have been a fever dream, but it also could have been the 90s.
There,
That's
I'm
weird.
looking up. I'm almost positive that Bruce Campbell was in the Disney Channel movie.
What year would that have been?
I'm not sure. When I was a kid, I loved these movies so much that every time I made a Pinewood Racer, it was number 53.
Yeah, well,
Next up, I had to include the black hole because I talk about it endlessly.
Mhm.
Uh, I actually count this as the first Genre Guys episode, even though it wasn't really. That was one that I did with Stuttering Guitarist, and it was before I had met Lou. And we ended up talking for, I think, about an hour for this movie. This is one that is kind of a fever dream in itself. It's one that I think is not entirely successful. And as a kid, it was trying to latch on to the Star Wars um, bandwagon at that time, doing a
Mhm.
science fiction movie for kids. But boy, did it turn into a horror movie in a hurry. And so,
Right.
totally, it's kind of all over the map, and I'm not sure that it really necessarily works.
I
I
think
have
they were trying to make a horror film and they softened it because the executives at Disney were just kept doing that over and over. They Disney was going through a phase where they kept trying to make more adult content and they
well, they
kept
were
pulling their punches.
they were trying to figure out what to do with the generation that was growing up and how to retain them. And I never got the feeling it was softened per se. I just felt like it was somehow to
Those
me, it felt
robots
like
seem
it,
pretty soft.
well, yeah, I mean, they're definitely cutesy, but
But then again, you get the body horror robots that are not.
yes, absolutely. And Maximilian is scary.
Mhm.
I I loved this movie, and I still love this movie. I don't think it completely works, but
Mhm.
it's one that I've had a long fascination with, and I have heard, I don't know if it's true, that this movie was the inspiration for Event Horizon. Um,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know if that's true at all. It's one that I've always wondered if you were going to remake this movie, one, could it be done and how would you do it? Um, I'm not sure if it would be worth it to find out, but I have been curious, and if I was going to do so, um, what was the name of the captain? He was played by Maximilian Schell, but I can't think of what Reinhardt. His name was Reinhardt. I think you cast. Why can I not do names tonight?
Mads Mikkelsen.
No. The Hans Landa. Um,
Oh yes, I know who you're talking about. But
Christoph Waltz.
yeah.
Christoph Waltz. Thank you. Yes, I think that's who you cast as Reinhardt. Because I think he could slot right into that role and do it really
Mhm.
well. I don't know about the rest.
The whole reason I'm in this space is because I wrote an article for That Park Place years ago about how Disney's a bunch of cowards and they need to remake The Black Hole instead of the movies they're doing.
I would totally get behind that. I don't think anybody would touch it today. But and just another thing that makes me happy about this movie. It's got a lot of great cast in it, but Ernest Borgnine, who turned up in some of the craziest stuff. And I don't know. I love the fact that he's in this and he's in Escape from New York, and I don't know. I could go on about this one. Everybody's going to know my next one. It's The Empire Strikes Back. Nothing more
Sure.
needs to be said about it. This is the top movie of 1980, and I would argue if Irvin Kershner had not been the director of The Empire Strikes Back, I'm not sure that the Star Wars franchise would have remained successful. I don't think it would have become the cultural icon it was. And
Agreed.
what's interesting to me about that is that at the time, it was not well liked because it was dark, because it had a cliffhanger ending. It was considered unsatisfying. And it was only later that it got a reevaluation. Everybody loved Jedi initially. Don't believe what everybody tells you about the Ewoks. They're a bunch of dirty liars. The Ewok hate came later.
No, they do eat people.
And they are the scariest opponents in Force Commander. So, um, anyway, those were mine. Martin, we're going to get to yours.
Okay. Blues Brothers
Awesome.
is I love that they took a one-off joke of a couple of bluesmen in bee suits on Saturday Night Live and just grew it into this movie that is how do you even describe it's a road trip movie, but it's also a crime movie and it's a musical and it's just insane. I love this movie. Right, the Big Red One is like it's basically a B movie. It's not great cinema, but it is a tribute to at the time, and I think to this day, the oldest division in the U.S. Army. And it's Lee Marvin plays this guy who had served in the Big Red One in World War One, and now he's the sergeant in charge of a whole new group of soldiers in World War Two. And Luke Skywalker is in this one. So
He is.
yeah, Mark Hamill's in it.
I didn't know that.
Really?
I've never seen this movie, so that's news to me.
It's better than Corvette Summer.
I know the next one is going to make folks happy because I saw it shouted out in the chat.
Ninja. So the Octagon is it's just such great cheese. It's it has one of my favorite lines ever spoken in any movie ever. I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of, Kevin, but it's this woman propositions Chuck Norris and he goes, "That would make me stupid and you a whore." It is delivered without a trace of irony. It's it is a great B flick.
Kevin, I assume you have thoughts.
It's Martin seasoned my soul with our love of this movie. So
Flash Gordon has a great soundtrack, and that's probably what carries it, but it's also a big load of cheese as well. It's a throwback to the old serials, but with 1980s technology that's made to look retro future tech. And Brian Blessed just screaming every one of his lines is a joy to behold.
And honestly, it's not the only movie he does that, but he does it with gusto in this one.
Yes.
Oh, we lost Kevin.
You also got James Bond in this, by the way.
Timothy Dalton.
Timothy Dalton, yeah.
Remind me which character he plays.
He plays the prince that Ornithalmunti, the princess, ends up marrying.
See, I actually didn't see this movie until maybe 10 years ago, something like that. Somehow I had never seen it, and I've only seen it the one time. But it shocked me because to me, it felt like a ripoff because I didn't realize this, but I used to play a computer game that was a isometric semi-RPG strategy game that was based on these Silver Age comic book characters called Freedom Force. And it was a really good game, but almost the entire plot was ripped off from this movie, and I didn't know it. So when I started seeing the movie, there were shot-for-shot almost remakes in the game of scenes from this movie, and I'm going, what the heck is this? I know this whole story. So that was very odd. Remains one of my favorite computer games to this day. Next up, this was an interesting choice.
Working 9 to 5. Awesome.
So, yeah, it is an interesting choice for me. It's actually one of a couple of movies on my list that are actually kind of left-wingy in their premises, but they're legitimately good movies. This one's hilarious. I ended up so my mom and two of my sisters were over at one point, and they're going through my movie collection, and my mom goes, "Hey, let's watch 9 to 5," and I'm like, "I'm not sure we want to." My mom goes, "No, it's great." So then you get Dabney Coleman strung up in the bedroom in a bunch of adult gear, and I'm just like, "Mom, did you really want to watch this all together?" And she's like, "Oh, I forgot about this." Like, yeah, we watch this movie as kids, Mom.
Can we talk about Dabney Coleman for a little bit, though? Because
Sure.
in the early 80s and around that time frame, he was actually in a lot of stuff, and he was really good and funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
One of my favorite movies of his was Cloak and Dagger, which we've talked about a little bit in the past, which is a great kids movie, and in which Well, I don't know if I want to go into all the plot details. It's of a piece of its time. I think it could still work as a story today if it was a little bit reworked, but I don't know who you would get to play the Dabney Coleman character because it felt like it was tailor made for him.
He is a bit of a throwback to the old Hollywood straight man,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
I just don't know that you have those anymore.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Brubaker is another lefty movie, but it's good. Robert Redford plays a guy who is supposed to be the new head of a prison. He's going to reform the prison, but he has himself thrown into the prison as a prisoner first to evaluate it from the inside. It's pretty interesting, and it's a really early film appearance of why am I'm blanking on his name now. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman plays one of the prisoners who's in isolation because he's so dangerous. So
wasn't aware that.
this is after his run on Electric Company.
Okay, that was the question that I had because I thought that was his start,
Mhm.
but I wasn't quite sure where the time frame fell for that. So interesting that other people are mentioning Cloak and Dagger. I wasn't aware that that was as big a movie as apparently it was.
Can I talk about? I was so pissed off the first time I saw Cloak and Dagger because I thought it was about the combo characters Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, a little bit different.
I feel like Cloak and Dagger, the movie we're talking about, is one that was like almost like Beastmaster. It was on HBO more than it probably should have been.
Mhm. Yes.
Right, Used Cars is one that I actually caught edited for TV on a UHF station.
Mhm.
Loved UHF. But this is I was a little bit surprised it wasn't on your list, Lorn, since it's a Kurt Russell movie.
Believe it or not, it's one of the rare ones I haven't seen.
I recently saw an interview with Kurt and Wyatt Russell, and I think Wyatt was saying Used Cars was his favorite Kurt Russell movie.
Really?
Mhm.
It is a comedy.
It is, yeah. Robert Zemeckis directed it.
Yeah, I saw that from the cover. I've heard him talk about it in the past, but
Mhm.
somehow it never came across any of the stations that I would have been watching back in the day. So somehow I just missed it.
There's a lot of stuff to love about this movie. One of the things is the way Kurt Russell dresses. He dresses like this skeevy used car salesman, middle-aged old guy, but he's young Kurt Russell. It's just that's the tone of the whole movie. It's crazy.
Your next pick offends me, but I understand why it's here.
I do want to know, why does this offend you?
Because I know what it is.
Yeah, it is a big dumb science fiction remake of Seven Samurai. But I think it deserves to be here because some major talents worked on this movie, and then in the next few years went on to great stuff. You got a score by James Horner. You've got James Cameron basically doing special effects on this, and he went on to do a few other things. Yes, it does. But it's also oddly shaped like a
Yes,
uterus
go
as
on.
well. It's an insane movie. And then Zack Snyder went and remade this. So go ahead, Kevin.
I say, is Pro still in the chat? ready to shut us down.
But talents who were on this movie. Bill Pullman also got introduced to James Cameron through this movie as well. But the craziest thing about all of this is that for some reason Zack Snyder decided to make a super serious version of this movie for Netflix. What was that called? The
Rebel Moon? Are you talking about Rebel?
Yeah,
Rebel Moon is a remake of Battle Beyond the Stars.
I thought that it was his pitch. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it was supposed to be his pitch for for a new Star Wars movie, but it's like you can watch those. It is a remake of Battle Beyond the Stars. Well, Kevin, what do you think?
Now that you're saying it, yeah, I see it. I see it. 'Cause I only see it because I just watched Rebel Moon recently. I just never got around to watch them. I just watched the first one, so I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it. I love this movie in general. This is one of those. If it just starts playing on my Tubi, I will not change it.
I love that Hannibal from the A-Team plays a space cowboy.
Yeah, I was just about to say it mostly it's because of George Papard just going, I'm here for the check, but I'm also going to enjoy. I'm enjoying just being here for the check.
You see, this is the amazing thing, is it can be either.
Mhm.
And in either case, you're looking at it and
hermaphroditic.
you're going, but why? why? This, as a design, this makes absolutely no sense, but whatever.
Hey, whatever.
Indeed. Indeed. I'm glad we have such a mature audience.
All right, so this is actually the second Robert Redford movie on the list. He directed this one. I think it's the first time he directed a movie, and it's super serious subject matter. It's about a family that's falling apart because the older sibling of the two children of these parents has passed away in a car accident. The son has survivor's guilt. The mother's just trying to pretend that nothing is wrong, and the dad is just kind of cut off. And it's all about how this family gets through that. It's a very good movie. I think Hutton got nominated for an Oscar for this one, which is, I've always kind of felt like when actors get nominated this early in their careers, it becomes more of a millstone around their neck than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you peak early. On the other hand, there's a lot of actors that probably do receive major or that don't receive major awards that really should. I always feel like they get cheated with honorary Oscars later. It's like, recognize their work when it's done, not as a generic Oscar that feels like a gimme. It's like, here's one because we should have given you one a long time ago and somehow never got around to it.
Yeah. And the chat is telling me I didn't mention it did win Best Picture for that year. But I had thought Hutton had been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I could be wrong about that. Okay. Nope. Anthony Michaels is saying he did win it.
And then
The Shinnin. This movie is obviously insane. We all know it's insane. I love that the author disavows it because it's not his brand of insane. But just the attention to detail that was not necessary, and all the stories about like actually typing out that giant stack of pages as a prop. Who does that? Why do that? This movie intrigues me, even though I've only watched it a few times, and also it's one that I had watched edited for TV later when I watched it with a group of people. I was like, wow, this is not what I expected to see.
And that's it for the picks from Martin. Kevin, you didn't have a list for me, but I'm sure that you probably got some that you want to talk about.
Let's start with Hawk the Slayer.
I forgot about Hawk.
Wow. Okay.
Jack Palance in half a Darth Vader mask, just chewing all the scenery. and you got it's against Jeremy Irons on top of it, right? No, I'm sorry.
No, Jeremy Irons isn't in that.
No, I'm sorry. It's John Terry. Sorry, I'm thinking of John Terry.
Right.
It's like oh gosh. Sorry, I for some reason just smashed this movie with the Jeremy Irons Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh.
I love that in this movie, John Terry and Jack Palance, or It's supposed to be brothers.
They're supposed to be brothers. I know. Like what? I mean, I guess maybe technically, I do have I do have a sister who is technically a whole 22 years younger than me. So I suppose, but yeah, this is just yeah. It's on Tubi, folks. I highly recommend giving it a gander. And it did have a really fun comic book years later. But yeah, oof. The sword.
This is the one with the giant fist sword, right?
Yes, the giant fist sword. Yes,
Yeah.
that looks.
Because sometimes I forget the 3-bladed sword and the fist sword. I get those confused.
That's the sword and the sorcerer.
Yes. We got giant sword movies right on top of each other, and
you and everybody else. Had a great voice though.
Yeah, seriously menacing and Shane.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Oh, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. Yeah, I feel like everybody thinks that's a 79 movie, but that is very much so an 80s movie. And young Kevin Bacon. So funny thing is, I was like, oh, there aren't boobs in this movie. I think I'm gonna use. And my kids all of a sudden decided they liked horror movies, so I'm like, let's go watch Friday the 13th. Me not realizing that the majority of my Friday the 13th viewings from 1 through 3 were always on USA. And that there were certain scenes removed.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching and I'm like, oh.
I don't remember this. What is this?
Like, you know what? We're just I was like, this never happened. No need to discuss this with your mother. Jason isn't in this one. We'll come back later when you're older.
Right. This is why I always rewatch old stuff before I show it with my kids. But at least you've got girls. My older ones are boys.
That's
No, it's fine, Dad. I'm old enough. What's this? This is really interesting. I am intellectually stimulated.
I'm watching it for the articles, Dad.
Oh my goodness. There is a movie called Puma Man from the 80s.
Called what?
The Puma Man. The Puma Man. It's
like
an
Manimal?
No, not at all like Manimal. More like low rent Superman.
Yes, yeah. But actually, so look, I need because I need to see your reaction to this. I need you to go pull up the poster for this movie.
Is it just Puma Man?
The Puma Man.
The Puma Man.
1980.
Donald Pleasance is the villain.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm seeing multiple different posters. So
the one where you see He-Man in a cape.
Okay. Give me a second. Hang on, I'm getting there.
And just study this photo and be very confused.
Let me see if I can. It should be said that this guy does not look anything like a puma.
That moon look very familiar to you?
No, but
That's
Puma
no
Man
moon.
gets his powers from the Aztec Puma god.
Yes. Yes, aliens land on Earth and then they become the Aztec gods.
Say what now?
See, doesn't that moon, doesn't that ship remind you of something?
Yeah, a little bit. It's got Donald Pleasance. I like that Donald Pleasance turned up in all kinds of schlock.
All kinds of schlock. Yes. But so the aliens land on Earth and they get mistaken as they become the Aztec gods.
Puma.
This is one of the first episodes of Mystery Science Theater that I remember seeing.
There is another movie that I feel is spiritually its brother. It's called Supersonic Man. It's also an Italian Superman ripoff.
So was this capitalizing on Chariots of the Gods? Was that the idea behind it? Ancient aliens?
Maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
probably. But also, too, I think it was really just we're going to cash in on Superman. Oh, let's
You
see.
would not believe this one could fly, though. This
No.
is some of the worst flying effects.
This is, yeah. It might as well just been someone leaning over a couch going, shh.
But then again, aren't they trying to do like a Greatest American Hero thing where he's not in full control of the powers?
Yeah, I think so, but it's still not an excuse. Let's see. I wish I had more time. I wish I had time to really dive into this because you guys thankfully picked everything I thought you were going to pick. And the bulk of my list probably would have been horror because there was just so much horror to come out from this year.
Mm-hmm.
The what's the Jamie Lee Curtis one on the train? Is that something that it could be something as stupid as Terror Train? I think. Then there's wait, is Saturn 3 1980?
Yeah, it is.
Was it?
Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, so
Saturn 3 might have made my list, but I was looking for 10. So
gotcha. So we've got Kirk Douglas, Farrah Fawcett, and Harvey Keitel on a space station, and oh god, what I don't remember what is it. What is it? They activate a robot and starts killing everybody. Is that what it is?
That was the plot of a lot of movies of that era.
But the
Never activate the robot.
I can't remember.
I think
Harvey
that
Keitel is jealous of Kirk Douglas, if I remember. I can't.
right. There's a. I am.
Oh,
I am not remembering this as well as I thought I would, but
Farrah Fawcett looks great in this movie.
I think the movie Hector is the name of the robot, right?
Yeah.
And he ends up getting assembled. And I think Keitel is the one who assembles it. It's been a while since I've seen it, but this was another one that was a bomb at the time.
This is not the movie I was thinking it was. I was thinking of a different movie. I haven't seen this one.
Farrah Fawcett. There's Farrah Fawcett plumpies in this movie. I think Harvey Keitel is the jealous scientist and starts offing everybody until it's just the three of them. And
Harvey actually looks great too. He looks very villainous.
Oh, it is Terror Train. Yes, Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, in her final girl era. Rides a train that, of course, has a killer on it. And if I remember properly, the killer looks ridiculously like Svengoolie. Let's see. I think that's all I can pull off the top of my head, given the hour that it is.
All right.
Well, if we're talking made for TV stuff, there's always Kenny Rogers, the gambler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I saw people mentioning that. I hadn't thought about the made for TV stuff. That one should be on the list. We do have a couple super chats to get to before we get out of here. The first one is from Clay Napier for $4.99. Rat Race Remake was the last Car Rally Cannonball Run type. I love the black hole. I saw it at 6. Were you scarred from the experience? And another one for $4.99 saying the Ewoks were great. They are their enemies. It was the TV movie that killed them. And that's possible. And maybe the Ewoks cartoon as well. I think probably the parents in the audience probably didn't like the Ewoks because looking at it as a parent now, I can see it as naked merchandising. But, as a kid, I never had an issue with them. I thought they were fine. I still don't have an issue with them. And
when John Williams score swells and that one dies, I get choked up as a grown man.
It hits you in the feels because they're emoting and it works. Although I will say in the latest version of the special editions where they keep adding additional effects that are unnecessary, making them blink does make them freaky. It's like I don't like it. That's actually an effect that does creep me out, and I can't explain why. You would think not blinking would be creepier, but somehow seeing them blink is just wrong.
It draws attention to their cold, dead eyes. That's why.
Like a doll's eyes.
Is that what it is? Because I know every time I see it, I'm a little bit disturbed. And the other thing is that for some reason, they also altered Jabba's palace doors, and they made it like, it's like, and it's another thing where it's like, this just doesn't look right. It's weird. Some of the things they did was always like, look, I understand a lot of the changes, but now you're just checking to see if we notice. Although McClunky makes me laugh. I actually like McClunky just because it's so dumb. I don't know why, but
there's stuff like big dinosaur thing walking in front of Mos Eisley and just dropping a turd. Like,
yeah.
Oh, goodness.
How much did that cost?
Well, especially considering the time, because back then, I mean, when they started making the changes, it was 96, 97. So I don't know. Anyway, that is our show for tonight, folks. I do want to remind you we're going to have Andrew Nelson on here. That is the interview that I've been talking about for Tuesday, April 7th. This is a former Lucasfilm and LucasArts employee who has the distinction of playing Darth Vader more than any other actor. He played him in full motion video segments of various LucasArts computer games. He also acted, I believe, he said, as a visual arts director, as well as doing some other things for LucasArts. He also worked for Lucasfilm. So I think it's going to be a fun interview. He's got some additional entertainment credits that we'll be talking about. Hope you guys will come here and join us. Think about the questions that you want to super chat in, and hopefully we'll get him to answer some of those. In the meantime, hope you guys all have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Till then, take care.
The bell rings every morning. It's off to school and work. Waiting for some fun while my boss acts like a jerk. Pro show afternoons. Midnight sketch can't come too soon. The afternoon sketch can't come too soon. But at night I'm filled with dread. I know just what I'll do instead. Come on and follow me. It's time you see for Lorn and Apollo. Time to laugh and learn. Come feel the burn of what the fandom was. What random fun doesn't escape. Isn't it great? Late night with Lorn and